Guys, I am pumped because today we're finally going to start throwing some IE parts on the Mk7R. Now, at the end of the day, you guys know I love to make some good friends in the car industry, and that is exactly what's happened with integrated engineering. Quick story, we do Wikis in the Woods for years and years. Last year, I meet Zane and Christian. They come out, they've got their Mk7R. The thing is awesome. I've got my big turbo Mk6R. The more we hang out over the weekend, the more we decide we have to do something together. But I had a big turbo on that car. They're kind of getting out of the big turbo game for the older stuff. And I'm like, man, I gotta get something to work with you guys on. So I start looking for a Mk7. They tell me to look for something with the new ECU. That way when they have their new TrueFlex stuff coming out, I can work with them on that. They buy our gauges. It all goes hand in hand. I start looking. So I sell the Mk6 Big Turbo R to a guy named Scotty, who's awesome, and we've become friends also, and he should be at Wookiees this year. I find this local Mk7R, 100,000 miles, full service records, in the sweet spot on price. The thing's got a few issues, but it's like the perfect car for me. So boom, slap the cheaper plate right on the Mk7 from the Mk6. So I let IE know I got the car, and they're like, sweet, we're gonna start sending some parts over. That brings us to like mid-late February. They start sending stuff over, all these parts, along with this box from Zane, which I can tell is genuinely from Zane, not only because of the censored artwork I can't show you, but also because this donut box is freaking empty. I mean, what kind of guy does that? Just sending someone an empty donut box?
My name's Zane Butterfield. I work at Integrated Engineering.
But anyways, we've got all these parts here. I've been itching to put them on the car, and today we're gonna start with some Stage 1 goodies, and then we're gonna jump back on the dyno over at Pickups Plus Cars, see what the difference is between our baseline of 266 and whatever we get to with the Stage 1 parts. And I'm just really excited to get some parts on my new R. Wookiees is coming up. It's just a great time to own a Volkswagen. What we're gonna start with today is a round of Stage 1 upgrades. And that's gonna consist of the turbo inlet, a cold air intake, and Stage 1 tunes for the engine and transmission. Over the years, we've unboxed a lot of parts for a lot of different cars, and IE parts are always super high quality, packaged really well. You don't get things that are scratched up and beat up. So I'm really excited to get these parts on the car. There's plenty of how-to videos out there, so I'm not gonna bore you with that. But we're gonna go through, get all the stock parts out, get the new parts on, and go out and see and feel the difference. So let's get after it. Awkward. And just like that, we are ready to flow a lot more air. And that is gonna sound amazing compared to a stock intake. And on top of that, it looks so good. And I don't even have the carbon fiber cover yet, which I may get because that thing looks sweet. Speaking of looking good, right now I've got my Milltek lanyard on, holding my road mic, kind of like Brian over at Keys Motorsports. But I've got my Euro Tuning t-shirt on, I've got my IE hat on. All I need is a set of Koenig Heelys, and that would complete the whole ensemble. I'd have like that drip going on, you know what I'm saying? I'll have to ask Noah if I use that correctly. He's our resident like Gen Z language expert. Now we're on to the part of this deal where I'm most likely to screw things up, and that is flashing the tune onto the car. When I threw this thing like a grenade earlier, that's like a literal depiction of my life with technology. But with IE, I'm in good hands. They've got a great customer support system. And on top of that, they've even got a Facebook group where customers can join, and they've got like 5 moderators. Everybody jumps in. They get you answers to your questions really quickly, give you great customer support. And I like to jump on there and stir the pot, have some fun, you know, get those guys, you know, sweating a little bit behind the keyboard. So let's get these tunes flashed into the car and go out there and see what Stage 1 IE feels like. All right, new tunes flashed on the car. New sticker on the laptop. I was honestly a little intimidated with all the transmission options this has. I talked to Christian a little bit. He got me a quick answer. With my tire size, we're gonna go with a 3,800 RPM launch control, auto upshifting. I'm ready to find out what Stage 1 IE is all about. All right, we're gonna get a little bit of acceleration here, see what she feels like. Oh, yes. I mean, we're moving way more air. The exhaust has to be louder, right? That's a nice DSG fart, like that. Not gonna do a full 0 to 60 yet. Car's warmed up. I wanna do a little taste of launch control because we're getting a lot of induction noises just driving around. It sounds so good. Let's see how much boost we make sitting still here. Oh. 19.4, that is way more spicy than stock. So we're gonna get to a little open stretch of road here, open her up and see what she does. All right, to our favorite illegal U-turn location. And we got open road behind us, straight road in front of us. Let's see what a 0 to 60 does. Come to a stop, here we go. Okay, I don't think that's accurate. There was a lot of noise coming out from under the car. I think one wheel went straight like to a huge burnout. We're gonna try that one more time. That didn't sound great.
I was holding onto the seat to keep myself from falling backwards.
All right, I'm gonna see if I can do it like more gentle. You ready? Dude, I don't know what's happening there. We've got a 100,000 mile car. It's making a strange sound. I don't know if it's pushing through the clutch or if maybe one wheel is momentarily going to 60 and we're hitting that wheel speed we need to see. But I know we didn't do a 0.48 0 to 60. So I just did one more thing. I'm gonna put it in speed and see what it says because somehow the gauge is getting a 60 mile an hour response when it shouldn't be. Oh, okay. Did you see that? Look at this peak recoil. Get a view of the gauge. You ready? 156. So I feel like something in the drivetrain is not gripping. We're gonna find out what that is and get an answer for you. Other than that though, this thing is a menace. Let's see how much boost we make. Dang, that is a huge improvement over stock. We've got 25.5 PSI right there. We're gonna pull this thing in, kind of see what's going on with this slippage. I might talk to Christian and Zane over at IE, but I mean, I kind of expected there might be some issues. We got a 107,000 mile car. We just might need to do some DSG clutch upgrades. So it's the next day, and as you can see, the car is up on the lift. Now we've learned some things since yesterday, and what I did is called Christian, let him know what's going on, and we pretty quickly established this is not related to the tune. I never really thought it was. But rather than leave it at that and him say, hey, it's not the tune, best of luck, he kind of went through some information with me, got some data logs from me. We even made a video or two seeing what's going on with the car from the outside during a launch, and he advised me to check out my Haldex pump on the rear differential. Now, I'm still learning a ton about these cars. I don't know everything yet. I didn't even know that's the possible issue. So I jumped on YouTube, checked out a Humble Mechanic video, and basically got the start to finish process of how to check this Haldex differential. So I go in, I pull the pump to look at the screen. It is absolutely disgusting. And do you guys want to know what 107,000 mile Haldex fluid looks like? That's your answer right there. I'm pretty confident this Haldex has never been serviced. And I don't think that Volkswagen actually lists any interval or anything for cleaning that screen, but it was caked. It didn't really seem like it had a ton of metal on it, but there was like this gelatinous, gelled material. I have no idea what it was. But we got it all cleaned up. Cleaned out the case as well, where I could see some buildup also. And then we got the pump reinstalled, fresh fluid pumped in it. I'm gonna drive it for the weekend, and then we're going to reflush it again on Monday and see how that does. But I do just wanna iterate that working with IE is awesome because I reach out to someone like Christian, and instead of just saying, hey man, that's not the tune, like go check out your drivetrain, he took the time to work through some data with me, figure out a solution, and guide me in the right direction to get my problem solved. So let's hope this 107,000 mile Haldex pump still has some life left in it, and it just was getting clogged with that screen being all caked with that junk. It is now Monday. We've added some miles to the R and removed some hair from my beard. News isn't great. Couple hundred miles, and there's our fluid. Tons of metallic debris, nice and shiny and sparkly, not good. So what I did was set the level in the diff on Friday, took it out. It was raining, so it was a little easier to try some launches. I had a nice front wheel drive burnout, and then on the second launch, boom, it kicked in, rear pushed, it felt great, and I'm like, okay, sweet, we just purged the air. Not the case. Never really felt any rear engagement again. So what I've done here is I've removed the pump, and I went ahead and tested this, and it's good, and I want to show you guys what I did so that you can possibly test, maybe even without removing the pump from your car. This one functions correctly, and we can do a simple ohm meter test by setting our multimeter there to ohms and we're getting a little under 1 ohm of resistance on a good motor. Annoying beep. Checking resistance is something you can easily do without removing the pump from the car. You can also apply power and ground to this pump to see if it's actually running or not. I'm gonna do that with this power probe here. And so on mine, this is a factory pump as far as I know. I've got a black wire and a green wire inside this loom. My ground is over here on the round side of this plug, and my power is over on the flat side. So I'm going to go ahead and provide a ground, and now we're gonna apply power and run the pump. And you can see there, it's got lots of fluid circulating. Just because your motor's running doesn't mean the pump is actually pumping fluid, but in this case you can see lots of fluid is shooting out of that pump. I'm pretty sure the pump is good. So what happened here? When we removed this pump the first time, we saw all that junk on the screen. So even if you have a functioning pump, and even if your fluid was serviced at some point, if that pump cannot bring in enough fluid to apply enough pressure to clamp the clutches in the rear diff down, those clutches are going to be able to slide on each other, and it's essentially like you letting your clutch pedal halfway out all the time, just slipping the clutch constantly. This is slipping the clutch in the rear diff because it can't clamp the clutches together. And so now you have tons more material added into your fluid, which then blocks the filter further, which then blocks more fluid from coming in, which slips the clutches more, and it's just this angry cycle. The result of all this is we're going to need a new rear diff. But the good news is the car still runs and drives fine without the rear diff. You just don't have that rear diff lockup for launches. That means we're not going to be able to get a very accurate max perfect 0 to 60 time with our Stage 1. We're going to do our best still, and then we're going to get it back on the dyno to also see what our power numbers are. Beyond that, we're probably going to Wookie's front wheel drive. So let's head back over to Pickups Plus Cars, get this on the dyno, see how much power we make, and do our best to get a front wheel drive 0 to 60 that's somewhat respectable. And we're just going to make the best of a bad situation. You know what they say, when life gives you Haldex dust. All right, everybody, got my little mic right here. We finally are going back over to Pickups Plus Cars to get this thing back on the dyno. We got a brisk morning too. It's 37 degrees, so we're gonna have a similar temperature to before. All our variables are the same. The dyno is locked front and rear drums. We had it locked before, so whether this is just front wheel drive or all wheel drive, the power output is going to be the same to the dyno because it's still spinning all the wheels. The car's filthy. We're gonna make our buddy Jude over at Esoteric really mad and just go through this automated car wash real quick, and then we're getting on the dyno and we're gonna see what she puts down, i.e. Stage 1. It's definitely not gonna scratch up the hood.
Oh my gosh.
Jude, what's wrong?
I don't know. Something's not right. Something's not right in the world. Something's wrong.
Picked up 50 wheel horsepower. Went from 266 to 316. Power all the way across the board. The downside is we're front wheel drive. I guess we were front wheel drive then too, we just didn't realize it. We're set up for a 0 to 60 run. We're gonna hit our favorite illegal U-turn spot and see what we can do front wheel drive. We're gonna skip our favorite illegal U-turn spot and go to the next one because this truck's coming. That'll work. This works just great. Oh, we got no one behind us. We're all set. We need all the traction we can get front wheel drive life. All right, here we go. Oh. Dang, dude, she hooked up 386.
Whoa.
Our diff healed itself. Dude, that felt so good, so quick.
So much faster.
Dude, and here's the thing. We bolted on 50 horsepower in like 15 minutes. Threw that inlet and the intake on, throw the tune in, ECU Tune as well. I mean, the car, I'm not gonna lie, just feels completely different. And now I think we just got lucky with a good launch, just the right amount of traction there. Mark 7 is so good. I started out as a Mark 6R guy. Noah's not gonna like this, but I'm liking the 7. So, in summary, we took our Mark 7R and we added 50 horsepower and we cut about 0.8 of a second off our 0 to 60. And the thing is just a whole nother animal now. As far as install and price, install was a breeze. We're talking like 15, 20 minutes to put that inlet on, another 10 minutes or so to put the intake on. This parts look so good compared to the stock parts, and you're making big power, great noises. Pricing, you've got about 180 bucks in your cable. You've got 550 bucks in your ECU tune. If you got a DSG, it's gonna be a little bit more. You got 600 bucks in that tune. We've got 120 bucks for an inlet, and then your intake without the lid is gonna be about $400. This is an investment in your car. I really am truly impressed with how different the car feels. It's like a whole different car, sounds better, looks better, performs much better. So when I first got this car, I was so excited. I could not believe how quick it was. Felt great. And now we're like a whole nother level just on Stage 1. So do yourself a favor and use my affiliate link to order some parts for your own car. I cannot wait to get down to Wookiees, hang out with the IE guys, the Eurotuning guys, maybe Koenig will be there. I don't know if Dowd's coming or not. But we just have this great network of people we're affiliated with. I love making friends in this industry, and I love making friends with you guys too. So if you're coming down the Wookiees, come find us, come say hi. Maybe we can take this car for a rip. But we really appreciate you watching this video. We had a ton of fun doing it, and we're just getting started. So coming up, we got Stage 2, and then on top of that, we got Flex Fuel, and we're gonna get a diff added back into it. This thing is gonna be a beast. Thanks for watching, as always. We'll see you in the next one. That's our buddy Jude. He's like a fanboy. He can't help himself but to gravitate towards this car. He's got a Mk7 All-Track, but we all know he wants a Golf R. Naturally.
Something's not right in the world.